Hey you guys, welcome to your grammar video, and in this grammar video we're going to talk about tenses. We will talk about two tenses, present perfect and present perfect continuous tense. First, let's stop at the formula of these two tenses. So in the present perfect, we use the auxiliary verbs have and has and the verb in its third form, or the past participle. For the regular verbs, we simply add ed ending, but for the irregular verbs, you will need to use the past participle from the table of irregular verbs. With the present perfect continuous, we use the subject, then have and has as the auxiliaries. Also, after have and has, we use the past participle form of the verb to be, which is been, and then we use the verb with the ing ending or the participle one. So generally, the main verb is used either in past participle form for the present perfect or in participle one form for the present perfect continuous. So here is the formula. Please be attentive to all the auxiliary verbs because sometimes you miss them out and sometimes you put too many of them. So please be careful and think twice before constructing your sentence or before saying your sentence out loud. Just take the 2 seconds rule. The 2 seconds rule is stop, think, recheck, and then produce your sentence. This rule is my personal rule because every time you want to respond spontaneously or you want to say something right away, you just need to breathe in, breathe out. That's going to take 2 seconds and think about the correctness of your sentence. This 2 seconds rule is a fantastic tool that you can use to improve your grammar by 80%. So just take some time. Don't hurry and think carefully. So what is the difference between present perfect and present perfect continuous? The major difference between present perfect and present perfect continuous is that present perfect continuous is mostly translated into Russian as the present tense. Because when we use sentences in present perfect continuous, we're talking about the process that has started in the past and is still happening right now. For example, I've been studying English for 20 years. So the duration of my study is 20 years, but I'm still studying. That's why I'm talking about the whole process as one, as a whole, and using present perfect continuous because it is connecting the past and the present. The same thing, we've been living here since 1995. So for present perfect continuous, we use the helping words for and since for a duration of time and since some point in the past. But since the action is not finished and it's going on right now, we are using the continuous form. And of course, that action should be one and whole during all the time. Since the present perfect continuous is still a continuous tense, a progressive tense, we cannot use stative verbs in the continuous. So we cannot say, I have been loving him for 5 years. Because love is a stative verb. It refers to a feeling. So here we say, I've loved him for 5 years. Or another example, I have been having this cat since 2015. It's a wrong sentence. It has a mistake because the word have is talking about possessions, and possessions are states. They're not actions. So we say, I've had this cat since 2015. Even though I still have this cat and I will have it tomorrow and the day after, hopefully. With the present perfect tense, we are talking about one or a series of actions that are finished. So by now, something has been done. For example, I've read 100 books. It means that I'm not reading that 100 right now. Right now, I'm reading the 101st book. So the 100 books are in the past, but since the major thing is the result, the experience, the knowledge, and the feelings that I have, we use present perfect. Or another example, I've been to Spain twice. It means that I am no longer in Spain. I'm not in Spain. I'm at my home. And the action was generally in the past, but since it has the impact on the present, and I'm talking about the result of it and the experience, we're using present perfect. And when we use simple present perfect tense, we are talking about some permanent situations. For example, I've lived here for ages. It means that this is my permanent place of living. But here you can use, I'd say, both tenses. You could use present perfect continuous and say, I've been living here for a long time. But it's like a change of a situation. So it means that you lived somewhere else, and then at some point in the past, you moved here and you've been living here for a long time. So most of the times, the major difference is that present perfect continuous has a duration. It's one temporary action that has been happening over a period of time and is still happening. And of course, we need a duration or a period when it started happening, a point on the timeline. But with the present perfect simple, we are talking about mostly things that have already been completed. And the states, of course. I've loved him for 5 years. I've had this cat since 2015, because the stative verbs cannot be used in the continuous. I hope you understood the major differences, and to understand some peculiarities, you need to complete your practices and chat with your teacher more. I hope you will do this during this week and make it clear in your brain. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week.